Um, Mom? Yeah. Let's go upstairs.
All right. I think we're good. I think we can start.
Yeah,
Man, we could have
we're good enough.
started. Yeah, we
We're good
could have
enough.
started an
Yeah.
hour ago, truth be told.
But we didn't
Uh
know. But we didn't know that though. We didn't know
it's
that.
true. It is true. We did the right thing by holding on. Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, everybody. It is the Project Game Day post-game show after the Ravens absolutely throttle the Texans in Houston. We should do more Christmas shows. These tend to turn out very, very well. The Project Game Day post-game show is brought to you by 1-800-GAMBLER. No cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem. Look, we'll start, right? Reeta, hopefully, will still be able to join us so she didn't ascend into heaven after seeing Beyonce today, because I know that no reason she went to Houston. But we'll start with our Super Bowl 35 champion, Femi. It's funny because you joined us last week and you said, "Hey, I'm still looking for more."
Yep.
This was pretty emphatic. This was pretty thorough from start to finish.
Yeah. We the 2 points they got, we gave them, and this is what I wanted. I just wanted to see a complete game, penalties, run the ball, Lamar do what he does. I mean, what's crazy is when Lamar rushes the ball for more than 50 yards, it's like 100 yards passing. And he was so methodical today, and the way he just kind of took the game over when he needed to. It's a tip of my cap to Lamar. Like he just knows what he needs to do when he needs to do it. And today was a perfect example. And the defense, right? Like CJ Stroud is going through some stuff, man. And I don't
Mm.
ever want to like say that we took advantage of somebody that was down, but we definitely did. And this is bigger than football. CJ is going through some stuff, but I think the lows emotionally also have higher highs because you're so invested in what you do. And I'm just talking about CJ Stroud in the Texans right now. Just give me a moment right now. I want to give this man some love and respect because I sense his energy. I know how he's feeling. His best friend got hurt. His best friend might be done playing football, and that's a lot to process.
Sure.
I've been there. And so I know that as far as Ravens fans go, we are ecstatic tonight, but let's not lose grace or lose sight of the fact that real people are dealing with real things today. And I'm just happy that we won the game. And I know I came on last week. I was late to the party and all that stuff, and I said, "Hey, look, it was a good win, but it wasn't as clean as y'all thought." And today, this win today, this is what I'm talking about. And Glenn, you and I talked, was it Monday after the
Yeah.
fact? And I didn't hold anything back. I just wanted to be honest and real about what I wanted. This is the game that I wanted. This is the game that I got. Man, I tip my cap, man. I'm happy to be a Raven.
Hey man, I can't really add a whole lot to it. Andrew Steck, I'll give you a shot. Your first thoughts.
I agree with a lot of what Femi just said. I mean, I know that the Texans offensively are going through some things, specifically Stroud. Their offensive line I know is a little dinged up, but everyone is at this point of the year, right? I mean, they
Yeah,
they just went
back,
down and
back.
dominated a game. And I think the things that impressed me most about this is the 3 and 11 days. Like they responded so well off of that Eagles game to win these 3 games in 11 days that they knew was going to be crucial to trying to win this division and come from behind on the Steelers in the way that they now are completely in position to do, obviously only needing to get the win over the Browns at home on the final week. And I'm just utterly impressed. And I think despite what we're talking about with Stroud and the Texans, I'm so impressed by the defense, the way that they just pressured and the secondary played well. I mean, top to bottom. And we could talk about Lamar for days. Obviously, the offensive side of the ball there haven't really been a lot of issues there. But we've all been waiting for the defense, and I think the defense is starting to round into some kind of form that could be really dangerous come January.
I think it's a
Um,
very
Andrew,
fair point. Yeah. Go ahead, Femi.
dude, I know, dude. Andrew is spot on his analysis. I agree 100%. And this is the thing. And I just want to like own my own BS. I made a point that this defense would be a top like 10 scoring defense by the time it's all said and done. And I was wrong about that, but I wasn't wrong about their trajectory. Like they are doing what I thought they would eventually do. And to do it against a team like this in their backyard on Christmas Day, this defense has turned the corner for sure. And I think a lot of people have a lot of flowers they should get for this. And I just think Andrew made a lot of good points. And I don't want to lose sight over the fact that they struggled for a really long time. And sometimes the numbers don't catch up to the performance. Because we can look at the numbers right now, and without knowing like the trajectory, we would still think they were a middle of the road defense. No, they're a top 5 defense right now. I just don't want anybody to lose sight of that. That's all I wanted to add. Apologies.
I wanted to give you an opportunity to break that down a little bit because we talked about it before you came on last week. And the two things that seem to stand out the most, changes wise, are obviously our Darius Washington,
Yeah.
but then Kyle Hamilton, instead of being used as this, jack of all trades and lining up on the D line and lining up at linebacker, just moving him back to free safety and having him play free safety, which at the beginning of the year, we all talked about how we didn't want that because we wanted Kyle Hamilton to be able to be used
Yeah, I know, right?
in all of these many different ways.
Yeah.
Are there other things that you have seen, or are those really the two that stand out to you as like how this change? Is it just Zach Orr growing into it the same way that Mike McDonald had to grow into it a few years ago?
I think that we lose sight of the fact that this is all dynamic and that everything evolves over time. Like we look at something and we think it's static. And if the Ravens do anything, they adapt to the environment and the players that they have as they need to adapt. Even when Lamar got hurt, if y'all don't remember, right? We went into Cincinnati and almost won a playoff game. Other than for a sneak at the goal line, we would have probably won that game. You know what I mean? My point is that the Ravens coaching staff, the Ravens leadership as a whole, they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? I think we lose sight of that. Maybe I even do it every once in a while. But my point is, ultimately, is that Kyle Hamilton is a Swiss Army knife, but he's only a Swiss Army knife when you have everybody doing what they're supposed to do. He's the best safety in the NFL, hands down, if he just plays free safety. And he's already shown us that. In our Darius Washington, bro, my goodness. He's the most improved player in the NFL this season for sure. And I told you this earlier this week. The best award I ever got as a college football player was when my teams voted me most improved player. And he's that guy. And he's not going to get, he could get a Pro Bowl vote or two. I don't know, but most improved player, like most valuable player in regard to just his improvement, like it is mind boggling. And I think that inside the four walls of that building, maybe not to them and probably not to him, because guys that do what he does, they have a level of self-belief that's hard to measure. But I respect it and I love it because I was that guy. My brother was that guy. A lot of Ravens are those guys, and the Ravens find those guys. He's one of those guys.
And there's something about it being an undersized guy too, right? Just something about a guy that it's just that effing heart, man. And like the play, obviously on fourth down, that the only real significant. It's hard for any single play to stand out from this game because it was so thorough, but that one will stand out because it was the one moment where it seemed like the Texans did have an opportunity to make a move, get back into the game, and our Darius Washington obviously snuffed out Joe Mixon on the sideline. And give Trey White credit, who was behind that, and when Joe Mixon was starting to kind of get his balance back on the sideline, Trey White came through to make sure that play was finished off too, and I don't want that to be missed.
Hey, real quick, it was a full team effort tonight, right? Right.
Yes, 1000%, dude. Let's go to Houston. She's down there. She did not ascend into heaven after watching Beyonce, and I thought she might. She is.
I don't know. I think I'm still there. I think I'm still in heaven. I think I'm still in heaven, guys.
Merry Christmas, friend.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
How's? I would assume this is about as good as any trip you've ever made.
For sure. I mean, obviously, with the Steelers. Oh, the lady said, "What'd you say, ma'am?" I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Did y'all hear? She said we ain't had to beat them that bad. I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't know that was going to be the case. But so this game was really good. And what's funny, y'all, is I have more of a critique about CJ Stroud and the Texans offense than I do about like what the Ravens have done, which is crazy, right? This defense has absolutely turned it around. And watching Kyle Hamilton be a natural safe, putting him back in safety has really done wonders. But I think I'm dumbfounded about the regression of CJ Stroud because the offense did what it was supposed to do, in my opinion. And this is what it was supposed to do. The zone reads were there. The run game was there. You know, when you needed to make a play, Lamar does what he has to do. He continues to extend the play. It was there. I think it was a blowout the way that it was because Stroud might be dealing with a sophomore slump. But but fortunately for the Ravens, that's not their problem or their concern. You know what I mean? And so that's just something that you got to be okay with. I'm completely okay with a team that essentially last week was kind of going toe to toe with Kansas City prior to the Tank Dell injury to be essentially shut out the way that they were, because the safety is really all that they had. And like you said, the fourth down play, phenomenal. Because you just know that if they score there, it feels like the momentum is going to start to shift and they get back into the game. And the Ravens said, nah, we're not going to allow that. And that is exactly what you're looking for. So this is the win that they needed, particularly because the Steelers lost. So now you're in sole place of first place in the AFC North. And now you got to keep it because they play the Bengals and you play the Browns. So great win. Excellent win. And my favorite thing, guys, was the crowd cheering MV3 when Lamar ran for that touchdown. Like, it was a great moment here in Houston.
It was apparently the fastest run that Lamar's had since like 2019 on the touchdown run.
Hey, he was gone, bro.
Man, he was
gone.
blazing.
It looked so good. I was like, oh my God. I was sitting here watching with my kids and like, Mom, I was just like, dude, that's like vintage Lamar, because
no doubt
he doesn't really need to do that anymore. And let me just say this real quick to piggyback on what Reeta said. You know what's wild is that the Ravens right now, if you take all the things into account, right? Like I told you when we lost that AFC championship game, it was going to be Ravens, Chiefs. I said here, and then as time went on, I said it's probably going to be there. The Ravens are going to play the Chiefs in the AFC championship game. Write this down. They are going to beat them. They have gone through hell and high water, and trauma and complication is what makes you good. They have been through all of it. I promise you they're going to be ready for that game. I can't wait for it. Oh, I can't wait.
It does start to feel like a parallel from 11 to 12, right? It does start to feel like we all know what happened, the 2011 AFC Championship game, and you had to go back and reclimb that mountain, and you had to go through, as we remember, and obviously because your brother was on the team, all of the tribulations that team went through that season. Offensive, there are a lot of parallels. That doesn't guarantee that the result will be the same.
No, it does not. But I'm telling you right now, listen, I am all about the science, but sometimes you got to go with the art. And I'm just telling you right now, I've been feeling this whole thing since a year ago. And dude, how bummed were we after that AFC championship game a year ago? We were so bummed,
distraught.
Right?
Yep.
We were hurt as a community, as a city, as a county, as a state. And I'm telling you right now, this team is not as talented as last year's team, but they might be better. They might be fucking better. You know why? Because they went through that experience.
Right.
And sometimes you get drugged down to the deep water where you can't breathe and you feel like it's over. But no, one person says it's not over, and his name is Lamar Jackson. And a second person says it's not over. His name is Coach Harbaugh. The third person, his name is Eric DeCosta. He says it's not over. And then everybody buys in and say, you know what? I don't care what we do between now and then. Let's just show up. Let's just get there. And once we get there, we got something for them. And I'll tell you this right now. You cannot tell me the Ravens are not the most physical fucking team in the NFL. They are. Now, it doesn't mean they're not going to win. That doesn't mean they're going to win the game. There's no guarantees. If they play clean, they're the best team in the NFL. I've been saying this for over a year. I stand by it. But playing clean is a hard thing to do, and very few teams do that. And I apologize for hijacking the moment, brother.
No, man, you're good. The top high school basketball talent from across the country returns to the Wacomico Civic Center December 26th through 30th. Witness 5 full days of elite competition featuring over 140 high school basketball teams. For tickets and info, visit govchallenge.org. That's govchallenge.org. It all starts tomorrow. I want to go back to something Andrew said, because I am feeling a little bit of like, did we just see a team in those 3 weeks leading up to the bye that had a late bye, that needed a bye. And I don't want to try to make excuses. I don't want to do that. Like they lost those 2 games. They lost to Pittsburgh, they lost to Philadelphia, like to the point they did get out physicaled by Philadelphia. But was it at that point a team that just had a historically late bye in the season and needed it to reset? And this is a truer reflection of what they really were than those 3 weeks that we saw leading up to the bye.
I mean, are you asking me?
I'm going to go around the table.
Well, let me go last because
right.
I actually think that you set the table up, and I think the answers, we know the answers, but
Okay.
let me go last.
Andrew?
Yeah,
Andrew. I mean, I can jump in a little bit on that. I think you bring up losing the Steeler game and the Eagle game. That was also sandwiched by the Charger game. A lot of this is matchup based. It's a lot about getting teams at the right time. But I do think that there's something about, and Femi, you can obviously speak to this way better than I can. There's something about rounding into form. Everybody says it. It's a little cliche at times, but like you want to be playing your best football at this time of the year. And I think that between what we're talking about with the defense and what we're obviously talking about with Lamar and the offense, like they're obviously rounding into form at a very, very good time. And they're not going to get a bye, so they're not going to have the week off after next week's game. Like you want them playing this way. You want them to actually, I actually kind of like the fact that they still need to go out and win one more game to secure the division. Like
Agreed.
they can't rest on their laurels. I like the fact that they're going to have to go into week 18 and have to win a game at home against a team that would love to spoil the party. And then you're going to have to turn around and, face a playoff like it's go time right after that. Like I like that there's still a little bit of chicken on this bone that they have to bite off. Like the way that this team's playing, that's the right where I want them.
Reeta, I'll go to you. What do you make of it?
Make of
the idea that this is the bye being so significant here, that it was so late that affected what we saw from them in those 3 weeks leading up and the losses to the Steelers and the Eagles.
I think it's interesting how that bye was so late, but maybe that's, Femi, do you think that that's something that they requested by any chance?
I think the bye was right on time. I mean, there's like,
but that's what I'm saying, because it was so late. Do you think that that's something that they asked for? Maybe like give us a late bye.
You can't. You have no choice. Like you just get it when you get it. It's completely random. Yeah. So.
I mean, but it's like literally the first week in December, which I'm like, wow, that's super late. But at the end of the day,
it's a blessing now, though, right, Reeta? I think it's a blessing now. Like looking back at it,
1,000%, 1,000%. I think that it allows people to regenerate, regroup, and do some things differently, and maybe just kind of look at some film and say, okay, this is what we need to do to retool. That's the word I was looking for, retool. And I think that having a bye, while I'm not necessarily a proponent of having a bye like the first week in December, it absolutely has worked out for them. And I'm curious to see how this plays moving forward as we go into the playoffs, as we go in, further down the road, because they've gotten a bye essentially later than everybody else. Whereas, some people got some buys in the middle of the season, mid-October or whatever. Well, now you got your bye in December, and so you feel refreshed a lot later than everybody else. And so I'm just curious to see how that carries over. But I'm confident in this team. I mean, when Lamar Jackson is your quarterback, you can't not be confident. They're never going to be out of it when Lamar is your quarterback, ever.
We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that in 1 second.
So you absolutely need. I'm a proponent of late buys. I just was like, is this buy a little too late? But I'm absolutely a proponent of having a late buy for sure.
All right, Femi, explain it to us.
Yeah, I think that the bye thing is it's luck. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know when guys are going to be banged up. If you're banged up in week 8 and you have a bye week 9, you're going to be happy that you got it. The truth of the matter is the Ravens have been relatively healthy. And I think that when I saw that bye, like full transparency, I hated it. I was like, dude, it's way too late in the season. Like, but I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know where we would be. I didn't know who would be where. And I didn't know what was going to be happening. But like, let's be real. There are things that happen for a Super Bowl championship team that are completely in God's hands, right? The universe is in control. You got no fucking say. And what you can do best is ride with it. And hopefully it fits the narrative that makes you a championship contender. And I'll tell you right now, we all knew the Ravens would be a championship contender. We knew this. but the bye actually feeds into it. Like it puts them in a position where Keaton can get a few more reps.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line with a bunch of young guys can talk things out a little bit better. Zach Orr and Dean Pease can talk a little bit more about maybe should we add a little bit more disguise, or do we want to keep it simple? How do we want to use Kyle? And like, to me, these are the things that you can't prepare for that make you a champion. They kind of just bend in your favor. And I have the benefit and the grace of being part of 2 Super Bowl championships, but with the Ravens as a player and as a bystander, as my brother as a player. And so many wild things happened that led to those championships that you just had to deal with. You can't fight it. You just have to be agile. There's a little bit of mental acuity. There's adaptation. There's acceptance. There's grief. There's all these things that you deal with, and you find a way to make that fucking shit happen. And I'm going to be real with you. I never had any doubt a year ago where they would be, but how they got here is wild. Like, to think about how bad this defense was week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and to see where they are now. They're the best defense in the NFL since week 10. They're the best. This offense has been a top 3 offense. They actually, let me go back further. This offense is one of the best offenses in NFL history since the greatest show on turf.
Yep.
This is who we're dealing with right now. The only way you mess this up, honestly, is through injury or a lack of self-awareness and just like penalties and doing dumb stuff, right? And my point is that we don't assume anything as Ravens. We always got to fight and earn our shit because nobody ever hands us anything. But to be where we are and to get here how we got here is pretty amazing. And I tip my cap, man. Coach Harbaugh is a Hall of Fame coach. Lamar's a Hall of Fame quarterback. If nothing changes today, that's Derrick Henry's a Hall of Fame running back. I think Mark Andrews is probably going to be a Hall of Fame tight end.
Wow.
But that's not good enough. It's not good enough. They want to win another Super Bowl. And I know I'm getting a little bit like out of there right now. I'm just saying that like it's Christmas and I'm excited, man.
We're feeling it. We're feeling it.
That's all.
It's exactly right.
I wasn't here last week. I wasn't here last week like that, but I'm a little bit here now. But there's a lot of work to do, though. There's a lot of work to do.
The vibes are immaculate. Hey, make your trip to the game easy by saving the Easy Pass way for tolls. Go to driveeasymd.com. It's driveeasymd.com. And for a couple people that have asked, hey, Ken sends his best. It's the start of Hanukkah, getting together with family tonight, Hanukkah dinner. Ken and Josh, love them. Love everybody who's celebrating Hanukkah. They can't be with us tonight, and we wish you the best, and we hope that everybody's had a wonderful holiday with their families. We like being here. I mean, this is not a bad way for me to spend part of my holiday, truth be told. I am.
So, look, real quick, I want to say, everybody was here today. So I saw Vontae Leach, who was here dressed as Santa Claus, so that means he was neutral. Didn't want to wear Ravens nor Texans stuff. I ain't mad.
I mean, we've talked to Vontae about this before.
Yeah, sure.
He says he's Ravens and not conflicted, but as we know, they also give him money down there to do some work.
Absolutely.
So he's gotta protect himself.
So he was dressed as Santa Claus. So I'm not even mad at that. So then I saw Derek Hamilton. And ironically, guys, I was sitting next to Ronnie Stanley's mom. Didn't even realize it until I don't know, towards
I'm sorry, Reeta. Griffin just put up a tweet. This is really funny. Anthony Miller surpassing Deontay Johnson on the Ravens' all-time leading receiving yards list with that catch. I'm sorry. That's a funny tweet. All right,
that's hilarious. Right. Then I had the opportunity to sit next to Ronnie Stanley's mom, and I was saying to myself,
"Oh, that's cool."
Please, Ronnie, don't mess up, because I don't want to be critical and to be sitting next to somebody's mama. And then you know what I'm saying? Because ain't nothing like your mama stepping in and being like, "You talking about my son?"
Hey, Reeta.
Yeah.
I love your mom, though. Your mom is great. Tell her hi.
My mom's here. I sure will. I'm with my parents for Christmas. I will. But it was dope. They were a great group of people to sit next to. It was her sister, and her daughter, and we had a good time. So today was really a good day. I mean, in addition to the routing of everything, right? But I was just saying to myself, please, Ronnie, please have a good day. I don't want to say nothing bad. Please.
He came back. Obviously, he got hit with the one penalty for being downfield, but my God, like Christ.
Yeah, that shit was lame as hell, right? That shit was lame. Yeah. I was just like, I didn't even react. I was just like, all right, whatever, guys.
Right,
like, okay, cool.
Well, and if speaking of lame penalties, the one on Marlon, I mean,
dude,
What
That was
in
not
the
a
world?
penalty. Like that was, what are these refs doing, man? Like
Dude.
seriously though, like that could have been a problem, like for real.
Well, and I'll add
Like when
in.
it happened, like, come on.
Yep. Oh no, it's a fourth down play. I mean, like you're off the field at that point. Like it's
It's a turnover.
correct. But I'll also add in it's shameful. And I said this. Look, man, it didn't matter. The game was way over. But that spot call on fourth down that the Ravens had to
Terrible.
challenge
Yeah, what are they
instead of
doing, dude?
like, why do you have the eye in the sky, the replay assist, if you can't just say, hey, they're clearly running up to the line of scrimmage because they know they didn't get it. Let's stop and check and make sure that we
Yeah.
got that right. It's asinine to me. Also, that the face mask that went the other way, that was a bad call too. The calls go both
In
ways.
case you didn't know, humans are clearly
Yes.
flawed.
100%. That's why we want to have as many protocols in place in order to be able to fix it as possible, right?
Thank goodness
Like,
it didn't cost anybody anything today, right?
100%, man. All right, now let's get to it. And Andrew brings up this point. The betting odds for MVP have moved after this game. Not
As they fucking should.
not to Lamar as favorite, but it's damn close. From as high as Lamar being plus 750 last week, DraftKings has it down to plus 135 now, and Josh Allen at minus 175. It's significant movement. Reeta and I had a conversation about it not that long ago. And I said then, and I wrote a column about it for PressBox, I'm not going to be the guy that gets worked up about it. I'm going to be the guy that says, go win Super Bowl MVP. That's the part that I care about. But I will acknowledge, the more I watch Lamar Jackson, the more I'm reminded that it's almost disrespectful that there's ever a time where we don't say he's the most valuable player, because there is no one in the NFL that is anything like what this dude is. And the comparisons that people make to Shohei Ohtani are real. He's just not like anyone else. And every time he plays football, he's the most valuable football player. That's all I'll say. Reeta, I see the floor.
Yeah. And then and look, the national media got some goddamn nerve. Yeah, I say that goddamn nerve talking about.
Yeah.
I saw one person saying
Tell
that
him,
he
Reeta.
needs to be unanimous. Excuse my French. What fucking world do you live in where that man who has had 3 games with 0 touchdowns needs to be unanimous? Then he sits there and acts like the Patriots game was just like a game they didn't care about. First and foremost, okay, they needed that game because they weren't, if they were in contention of the 1 seed, had they lost, the 1 seed just would have been last week. They're not giving up on the 1 seed, or at least attempting to try to give up on the 1 seed, because they beat Kansas City head to head. Let's start there. But also, we're not going to act like Josh Allen had stellar days against the Patriots. If you look at Josh Allen's numbers against the Patriots, he always struggled against the Patriots. So for him to be disrespectful, as if like, oh, we were just playing light, and I'm paraphrasing, obviously, is BS to me. But the fact that we're sitting here and acting like it's a unanimous decision, like this man didn't have 3 bad games. What Lamar's worst game? Josh Allen wish he would have had a game like that. And that's the problem that I have with voters and national media, because what's going to happen is that we're going to see what happened to Asia Wilson, where people get, where the year that she didn't win MVP, people are getting voter fatigue, but you need to vote properly. I don't care if you're getting voter fatigue. And no, I don't care, because I don't think Lamar cares, which means I don't care. But I just want things to be done fairly, and I want things to be done properly. And when I see people saying, oh, the MVP is summed up 2 weeks ago, I got a real problem with that. A real problem with that. And I don't care about, oh, Allen don't have this. Look at who Lamar had in 2019 when he won a unanimous MVP. And tell me Josh Allen got worse weapons than that. Please do. Please do. So I can read your rights on that. And that's the problem that I have with all this MVP conversation, is that it's not fair. It's not fair, and it's because you are fatigued of Lamar Jackson. Well, that's your problem, not Lamar Jackson's problem.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. Femi?
I mean, let's look at it in 4 categories. Stats. Lamar has his stats are by far, like in every category, he's dominated. Head to head, he's dominated. Record is close. If the Ravens win the AFC North, I would say that's comparable to the Bills winning the AFC East.
Yeah, there's no Pittsburgh Steelers or Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC.
There's nobody, and they have the loosest, most easy road to a division championship than anybody. And on top of that, if you look at just pure talent, like who's around these guys, I understand that Lamar has more talent around him. And guess what? His stats back that up. The stats and the talent, they back each other up. What the hell has Josh Allen done that tells you that he deserves to be the MVP? Especially when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, what matters most is when they played head-to-head, who was the best guy on the field? It's not even close. And the things that Lamar does on a day-to-day basis, from his decision-making to his running to his throwing, to his involvement in game planning. And I don't know, I can't sit here and say that I'm in Buffalo sitting in their offensive meetings. I don't know what they do up there. But at the end of the day, when coaches around the league and GMs around the league, the people in the know, say the best player in the NFL is a guy wearing number 8 in Baltimore, I think y'all need to listen. So it is what it is. Lamar is less invested in it than we are. We care way more about it than he does. But at the end of the day, and I keep saying at the end of the day, I'm mad at myself because I hate to be like so redundant, but he is checking all the boxes. He's playing the cleanest football in the NFL, and the numbers back it up. And they have the 4th hardest schedule in the league. I think the Bills have the 16th. There's just any way you look at it, you can't let your objectivity let you lead down to subjective analysis of the numbers that you want to cherry pick, because even if you do that, there's no way you can tell me that Josh Allen is better than Lamar Jackson. It's just not a fact.
I agree beyond wholeheartedly. And again, I'm gonna be the guy, my take will be, if it goes the other way, I'm not gonna lose my mind about it. I'm just gonna say go win the Super Bowl, and who gives a rat's ass about any of it.
Yeah,
but yes,
agreed.
In the context of asking the question, who's the MVP of the NFL? I don't know how anyone watches this cat play football and comes away from anything else saying anything other than that's the definition of the word valuable. Like, he's just a different human than any other human that plays this sport. It's crazy. By the way, it was 21.25 miles per hour on the touchdown run was what he hit, which is...
Hey, Glenn, real quick, just think about this. Think about the Ravens game versus the Steelers and this game today and the Bills game sandwich in the middle. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we looking at? Like, what are we looking at? Like, it's not even, there's no argument. And Dan Orlovsky, I want to smack him in his face with his ketchup, whatever he hates and all that. Like, I'm a picky eater too, by the way. I really am. I respect that. But like, for him to say what he said with the power that he has in the position that he has, for him to be so obnoxious and unaware of his influence, I think he is... it's selfish, it's self-centered, and it's unaware. It's like somebody that has massive power to say something out loud that everyone hears, and then they just go along with it because the person who they listen to every day says that. Like, we know that a lot of people are sheep. They just follow. Like, I'm not a believer. I'm an information seeker. I seek things out. I don't just follow anybody. I don't just believe anything. I seek out information. And for people that are believers in whatever they're told about anything, I just can't get behind that. That for me is a problem. I seek out information. If you analyze the data tells me that Lamar Jackson is the best player in the NFL, and he has been for a long time. Sorry to go on a rant. I didn't mean to, but just saying.
No, bro. We're all in the same place. Hey, while we're talking about Lamar, a reminder that PressBox's annual Best of issue is available right now. And on the cover, we do celebrate our Mo Gabba Sports Person of the Year honoree. Who else? Lamar Jackson. Inside, a collection of the top people, performances, and moments of the year in local sports. You can find the Best of issue all throughout the region, including at 60 Royal Farm stores. And read it all right now at PressBoxOnline.com/best of. The easiest decision we've ever had as far as Sports Person of the Year has been concerned. Let me get to a couple things that people had. Imagine, it's funny, nights like this, not a lot of screaming to do in the comments. Everybody's in pretty good mood. John wanted to know if they left. Okay, this is fair. John says, I know you guys are going to make fun of me, but is it possible they actually left Lamar and Derrick Henry in too long? It felt like midway through the third quarter they could have pulled him out. I know that this is a question that people are going to ask. We talk about this all the time. This isn't the preseason where you have 90 guys on your roster and like there's only what, 45? What's the number? Because you can have the 2 practice squad call-ups. Is it four? I think it's 45.
50.
There's only
Well, 47. I
53,
think 53 are, but I think 47 is the number.
47. There's only 47 players available to you. Like you can't just it just doesn't work this way. It's not college football. And also you do have to respect the fact that it's still the NFL. And if you stop trying in the third quarter, like the other team is still going to try. It I thought it was amazing they were able to basically go the entire fourth quarter without playing those guys. Like that doesn't happen in the NFL. That's crazy.
What are we doing right now? Are you serious? Somebody said that.
Yeah, man, look,
Nit,
man.
we nitpicking. That's what we doing.
Man, I just want to punch that person in the face, dude. Like
Oh,
seriously.
Femi, it's Christmas.
No, I don't give a damn. Like, let's not be silly. Like, look, the plays they called were to protect the guys that were on the field. Like, were you not looking at the play calls? Like, they weren't running crazy stuff. Like,
Yeah,
they
that's a
were
great
trying to
point, too.
protect. Yeah, like you got to use your brain. Like, come on now. Like, no, you cannot pull guys out and you can't just do dumb stuff. The guys that are making the decisions, which is Coach Harbaugh and his staff, they've been doing it longer than you, probably longer than you've been alive. I don't know who you are making the statement, but like, damn, like, what are we doing right now? Like, yeah, I'm irritated with that. It's dumb as hell. It's a dumbass question. Sorry.
He did expect us to respond that way. He said
Good.
so,
Well, it's a
you know.
dumbass question. Whatever his name is, I don't give a damn. Someone's a dumbass question.
From Dave. Dave says, "Oh, this is good too. Does this mean that they're going to be able to utilize both Keaton and Justice Hill at the same time after Justice comes back?"
It might. Yeah, for real. I like what Keaton did today. You know what? It wasn't pretty, but he took some big ass hits, held on to the ball, got a little shake in there. It was all handoffs. And guess what? The Texans knew they were going to hand the ball off. It wasn't like there was any secrets going on. I loved what I saw from Keaton. I love what I saw from Ali. And you and I talked about Ali on Monday, I believe. I like the running backs backfield now. Justice Hill, he's irreplaceable. He's absolutely irreplaceable. And I think that Reeta's probably going to laugh. He's probably smiling because she remembers a couple years ago when I was mad as hell with the zone read, how he couldn't handle the ball. But like, we're so far past that. Justice Hill is a problem when he's out there. He's a problem for all defenses, and we're going to miss him if he's not available. He probably will be available next week. I hope we got 10 days. But to get Rasheen Ali his carries, to get Keaton his carries, man, guess what? It's just all love for all the running backs because they might be needed at some point. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, I think the great part too is like we were kind of genuinely worried about Keaton, right? And like that he had tried to come back too early, and maybe he just wasn't going to be able to be impactful this season, and it was going to be more inactives. Like again, to the point of just being able to help, that you just want to have him.
I saw. I love what I saw.
Yeah, I think that
he got hit a lot, like in the backfield. Like I love what I saw. I'm good with it. It tells me he's ready. It tells me he's ready.
Yeah, a lot of tweeting from Odell Beckham during the game. Don't know if that has anything to do with him trying to catch on. It's weird that he hasn't signed, right?
He want that old thing back. That's exactly what's happening. He want that old thing back.
Sometimes
it happens like that. You see your ex-girlfriend, she looking good. You like, oh, you know, I just want to kind of take a spin
guess
the
what
block.
though? Guess what? I would take him back. I would bring him back.
I would 100%.
In a heartbeat. Guess what? We will be rekindling this relationship as far as I'm concerned.
We've all said like Odell Beckham was as quality a teammate. Like every single dude on this team,
everybody loved Odell.
Stood up and said, "We love having this guy on this team." And as we talked about, he was good for 1 or 2 big catches. His numbers on the whole weren't great, but man, he made 1 or 2 big catches every game. I'd absolutely take him back. I'll run the other one by you because Reeta and I talked about it on the radio show, Femi. The word that the Dolphins are considering releasing Calais Campbell once they're officially eliminated, which I guess would be this week, or if they weren't, were they not? That they were talking about giving him the opportunity to sign somewhere else for the playoffs. Yeah. I would feel the exact. Obviously, we know the Ravens tried to trade for him at the deadline this year. I don't know of any reason. I get it. The D-line looks great right now. It's crazy to me that if Odafe Oweh has a sack next week, the Ravens are going to have 2 double-digit sack guys this season, which is like, remember how desperate we were talking about edge rush. If the Odafe Oweh has a sack next week, they will have 2 double-digit sack players this season. It's crazy. But I still don't know of any reason why I wouldn't I know this is difficult and it means that somebody doesn't have a job and that's a difficult thing for somebody that's been on the team. I understand that it's a little bit more complicated than we just always want every
Facts.
guy that we know. But
Facts.
it's hard for me. If you ask me to vacuum, would you want Calais Campbell back for the playoffs? Yeah, hell yeah, I would. I would absolutely want Calais Campbell back for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think when you look at his performance this year and his PFF grades and stuff, yeah, you would want him back for sure. And Glenn, I think what is so thoughtful and so graceful is that you recognize that this affects somebody else that's already on the roster, right? Like there's limited spots for limited folks. And I think the Ravens would handle this with class. The guy, and I've been that guy. Like I played for the 1998 Minnesota Vikings. It was 15-1.
Really good.
Yeah. And I was active for a good part of the last half of that season. And guess what? They demoted me to the practice squad because somebody got cut loose and they activated that guy. And they said, hey, look, it's nothing against you, but this guy's proven. Like, you just got to take your lumps in the league. I ended up having an 11-year career, dude. You know what I mean? It's just the facts. So as somebody who's been there, done that, been through that, I totally understand. But as fans and as Ravens, the purple is wearing, purple is drinking, purple is bleeding, Ravenous Raven that you know. You got to do what you got to do that's best for the squad because that's what other teams are going to do. So you can't be soft or you can't be overly sensitive about what it means for a guy because if a guy is good enough, he always lands on his feet. Like NFL players are cats. Like you throw us out of a building, we land on our feet. We figure it out. If we're worthy, if we are worthy. And I've been there. So it doesn't mean I don't have empathy. I do. And it sucks, but I've been there. And guess what? I won a Super Bowl a year later in a totally different city. That's what grace is.
Yeah,
that's what opportunity is. Yeah, you never fucking know, bro. You never know. So it is what it is. But if you want to make your team the best team that you need to make it, you do what you fucking need to do. And that's what's required. And I'm okay with that.
It's crazy to think about how different your life would be, right? Like you're still here all these years later, right?
It's the wildest thing.
It's nuts,
the wildest thing. Right,
nuts.
I met this lame ass chick from Catonsville. I have 2 kids with her. You hear her laughing in the background. Yeah. Anyway, I'm at mom's house.
Oh, celebrating. All right,
what's up here? Yeah.
So someone, at least a couple of people are grateful that it worked out the way that. There are a few people that are grateful that you were released by the Vikings, that they gave you the opportunity. There's
My kids wouldn't be alive if that didn't happen, bro.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
A great point from Dan. Rita, we haven't gotten your Beyonce review yet. We can't go any further without getting Rita's Beyonce review. She just disappeared for a second, so give me a second to remind everybody the top high school basketball talent from across the country returns to the Wacomico Civic Center December 26th through 30th for the Governor's Challenge. Witness 5 full days of elite competition featuring over 140 high school basketball teams. For tickets and info, visit govchallenge.org. That's govchallenge.org. Rita, on TV, it was phenomenal. And we all know from having gone to Super Bowls that what we see on TV doesn't always translate exactly the same way in the stadium. How was your Beyonce experience in the stadium?
It was phenomenal. But I wish she had more time. I just didn't want. I wish she had more time to sing like the songs that I really like. I thought that the Post Malone cameo was cool. I loved when she did Blackbird because it had all the girls that were on there. Brittany Spencer, a Baltimore native,
Baltimore's own, that's
star.
Right. Yeah.
Baltimore's own was there, so that was cool as hell. Loved it. I am a Beyonce fan, so I knew it wasn't gonna be. I just hated that it was 20 minutes, but I mean, she had like I gotta assume that was like some type of HBCU band that she had out there, and
I believe it was Southern University.
See, I knew it was. Look,
but
I just know
real
how
quick
she
though,
operates.
the whole Blackbird thing is pretty wild though, right? Blackbird, like you know what I'm saying?
Right. Why would you sing that tonight? That's how you know she don't get into sports like that because she sang Blackbird or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's cool. Look,
Ravens, we a bunch of Blackbirds. That's what we are. Let's be real.
Even better that she did the song with a girl from Baltimore, right? Like a girl that like she Brittany Spencer. I've seen her wear Orioles and Ravens stuff religiously, so I thought that was really cool. But I loved it. I mean, the lady went into the sky, and I told my mom, I said, look, they putting in the little thing, so she getting ready to go up into the sky. Because I'd have been to enough Beyonce concerts to know when she getting ready to go to the sky. So I knew she was getting ready to go to the sky. So I was like, look, and then it happened, and then the bang came out. I said, see, and that was my mom's first Beyonce rodeo.
That's dope.
And she really enjoyed it. So
That's dope.
Man,
yeah.
hey, Reeta is so Baltimore. She is so Baltimore.
I know, I really am. Like when I
You
get
really are.
excited,
You are a
when
Baltimore thug. Like you're for real.
when I get excited, the Baltimore absolutely
It comes
out
out.
of me for real.
Yo,
So I loved it.
look, I'm a Beyonce fan. So I'm
We
not.
all are. Who's not?
That's
Who's
fair.
not?
This is if you're an American, right? But I
Yeah.
thought as television goes, it was really good television.
It
Like
was
it
Super
was,
Bowl level shit, bro.
it was really well produced,
It
and the
was so good.
staging.
And as a person that was in New Orleans for the Super Bowl and she performed, like, I mean, it really felt like that to me. It just wasn't long enough. That's the only thing.
I agree. I totally agree with you. I was there for that too, Reeta.
Yes.
And I think she was clearly focused on like doing the Cowboy Carter songs because she didn't tour it yet. And like I dig that. Everybody was like, hey, why don't you pull out, any of the problem is she's got 6 billion hits. Which ones is she gonna leave off? Like, my God. If
And
she
Destiny's
did
Child, like too. Like, come on now, like
exactly,
you know what I mean? Like,
exactly right. No,
and she brought them out too, though, right? They were out there too. Like she brought the whole crew out.
Yep. No, incredible. All right, let's do top 5 and then we'll get out of here. Easy Pass, make your trip to the game easy.
I'm going last.
By saving the Easy Pass way for tolls, go to driveeasymd.com. That's driveeasymd.com. All right, Griffin, you want to start us off?
Sure thing. I am going at number 5. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills, and I have the Ravens jumping up yet another spot. I have them at 4 after what we've seen over the last 4 days. So I've got the Ravens at 4, and then I'm going to treat the Eagles like they still have Jalen Hurts healthy. So I have the Eagles at number 3, the Detroit Lions 2, and the Chiefs at 1. That is my top 5.
Andrew
That
Steck,
is essentially
okay, go ahead, Reeta.
That is exactly my top 5. So everything that Griffin said, I was just gonna repeat. So I just want y'all to know right now. That was going to be exactly mine.
All right.
So
Andrew.
so the only thing I did a little differently is I did not treat the Eagles as if Jalen Hurts is not injured. That scares me a little bit. So I dropped them out of my top 5. I bumped everyone else up. So I have the Vikings slipping in at number 5, the Bills at 4. I moved the Ravens up to 3, and then I have the Lions and the Chiefs at 2 and 1.
I am moving I really like the Packers. Like, I'm very bullish about the Packers. I think there's a lot to like about that team, but I am actually just booting them out in favor of the Ravens because that's how impressed I've been with the last couple of weeks. So I'll go Ravens 5, Lions 4, Bills 3, Vikings 2, and Chiefs 1. And Femi?
So the Ravens are top 5 for sure, but guess what? Because I like when they're not in the top 5. I'm just doing this for dramatic effect. I'm gonna leave them out. Yeah, they're not even on the list. They're not on the list because as a Raven, I just want to be disrespected and I want everyone to shit on me and tell me how terrible I am because I'm at my best when everyone tells me how bad I am. So they're not in the top. They're not even in my top 10. They're not in my top 15. So the Ravens aren't even on my list. So I'm gonna go 5 Eagles, 4 Bills, 3 Vikings, 2 Lions, 1 Chiefs, and the best team in the NFL. We know who that is, but I'm not going to say who they are. But I already told you that that's my top 5 right now. There we go.
I dig it. I respect your commitment to saying you're saying this is the way. Let's just tell them how bad they are. You guys can't win a game. You guys stink. You guys are no good. Just keep telling them all that and let them continue to prove the doubters wrong.
They're not even on my list. They're just out there floating. Like I don't give a damn.
Did we ever figure out who it was that attempted to jump on our Darius Washington that paid? It's Chris Hewitt. There we go. Thank you, Chris Hewitt, who paid the price trying to jump over and give a body check to our Darius Washington, celebrating the 4th down stop. Our Darius Washington.
Well, Tony Jefferson's saying it's not Chris Hewitt.
It's not.
That's Tony Jefferson's opinion. He doesn't think it is.
Okay. Yeah. We got to figure out who it is.
Yeah, I don't think we did get to the bottom yet.
Hey, real quick, do you guys hate me for what I just did? Like, are we cool with what I just did?
No, because you explained it. We're good with that. It's good. Do the bit. Keep going with it. We're gonna. In fact,
I need to hear from Andrew. I need to hear what he has to say because he's my guy. I need to hear him.
Like Glenn, I am a bitsman. I'm fine with bits. That's great. I'm all for it.
In fact, we're gonna tweet it out more. We're actually gonna start a campaign about what an a-hole you are that you won't put the Ravens in your top 5.
They're not even in my top. They're not even in my top 10. They're not even in my top 10.
We're gonna try to start some S. We're actually gonna go out. We're going to go to the
When?
facility next week and walk around and ask players,
When?
what do you think about Ravens legend Femi
Hey,
Get it to
Ayanbadejo?
Roquan.
They're not.
Get it in
They're
front
not
of-
in my.
get in-
They're not in my top 10.
Not
Tell
in the
them I
top
said
15.
that.
Not a top half of the league team, he said.
Get it in
Nope.
front of
He
get it in front of Roquan and folks.
But guess what? But they're my favorite though. They're my
And we know
favorite
that.
team.
We know that's true. We know that's true. All right. Hey, Project Game Day is made possible by 1-800-GAMBLER. No cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem. Love you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Thank you for hanging out with us
Happy
tonight.
Kwanzaa, mofo.
Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa. All of it. All of them. Safe
I got you.
travels, Rita.
Happy holidays.
We don't even know when the game is next weekend. It could still be Saturday or Sunday. Whenever it is, we'll be together. We'll be hanging out with you for Project Game Day. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. Happy New
All right,
Year
guys.
as well.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.